Hi everyone, it's Carol here from Tapping Into Sleep, and today I'm going to do a fairly vulnerable video, I guess. Um, I am not one to speak much about the COVID-19 situation. I try not to get into the fear that shows up with it. I don't have a side, people have a vaccinated side, unvaccinated side, and this side, a government side, a non-government side. It's so political and full of fear. And the comments on Facebook are not always nice and gentle. And I've made the conscious choice over the last few years to not read the comments, to not let any of that affect me as much as possible. But I do realize that it's hard when we've lived the situation for so long. So recently I was contacted by a potential client who has not been able to sleep, and it started about a year ago with the stress of, do I go into the office tomorrow? Do I not go into the office? And so all the stress related to COVID that is affecting her sleep. And I know she's not the only one. And I know we all suffer with this stress. And I've heard it said before that even if you weren't directly affected by COVID, just the global anxiety and fear around COVID is affecting our energy field anyway. And so, as vulnerable as it is to talk about this topic for me, because I don't want to bring more fear in, I don't want to have something control how I feel. I felt that maybe we could do some tapping around it somehow. And I'm letting myself be guided here. I have no script. I have no idea what I'm going to say. But what I would like to do, if you are willing to do with me, is we might be able to do tapping to send love into the world instead of fear. That is what is kind of pulling at my heart right now, because if we can start reducing our own stress that we have towards COVID or the fear, and as I say COVID, it could be political, it could be racial, it could be anything. There's so much in our world right now that is off balance. And I believe that the more love we send out into the world, it will multiply. And maybe I'm just one little person, but if I choose to live in love, maybe I'll put the link to that song in the document, because there's a song on YouTube called I Choose to Live in Love. And I listen to it quite often because that is what I try to do each day. How can I live more in love today? How can I send love to people? And a big part of my work is how can I empower people to take control of their life so their sleep can come back? How can I empower you to feel that love? And it's not easy in the world that we're living. So let's do some tapping. I'm going to let myself be guided. I'm not even sure what we're going to say or do or test anything, but let's just see what happens. Before you do any tapping with me, like always, just go to my website and read my disclaimer. You have to be responsible for your own emotional well-being. And if you have, how could I say this? If you have suffered more because of COVID, if you have lost a loved one, well, there, my heart completely goes out to you. But let's just do some tapping to send some love into the world, okay? So let's just start on the collarbone. Sit comfortably in your chair, whatever's comfortable for you. Let's go to the top of the head. I'm choosing to send love into the world today. I might even cry, and that is okay. I'm choosing to see the good in people, even when it feels impossible. I realize that there's a lot of division in the world right now. But what can I do to help? What can I do to send more love into the world? Even though it feels like an impossible task right now, feels like the world is so divided, I choose to live in love for myself. I choose to be of service wherever I can be. It might be just checking up on my neighbor. I might join some more Zoom chats with my friends. But I find a way to keep my vibrations healthy. Because I know when I choose to come from love, I reduce the fear in the world. And even if it's not easy, I choose to do the best I can today. The world doesn't feel like a safe place right now. And that is showing up in a lot of people's sleep. But I choose to send love and light into the world. So check in with yourself right now. So what I'm feeling is really this sense of like, oh, like it feels heavy. There's like a heavy energy that is surrounding me. And so I'm going to tune into what we call chasing the pain. And I'm going to start using those words to describe what this energy feels like in me right now, to see if I can't release some of this, obviously, fear or uncertainty or anxiety that my body might be carrying because of what's going on in the world. But I can tune into all of that by just using how it feels in my body. Because at the end of the day, our goal is to feel good in ourselves. Because then when we feel good in ourselves, we can go help other people. And we can do it from an open heart. So tune into your body. So right now I feel heaviness, and I also feel pain that just showed up in my throat. And I know why the pain showed up in my throat is because I'm speaking my truth right now, that I wish everybody could send love out into the world instead of fear and anger. And I know that's not possible. But I feel that. So it's probably like an 8 in my throat. All right, so even though all this fear is showing up in my throat right now, I'm choosing to release it and send love into the world instead. Even though all this fear showing up in my throat right now, I'm choosing to release it and to send huge boatloads of love into the world. And even though this fear is showing up in my throat right now, I deeply and completely love and accept who I am. This fear is showing up in my throat right now, and I'm choosing to release it. This fear is showing up in my throat right now. I'm choosing love instead. I love saying that word. I'm choosing love instead. Even though it might be hard. Even if other people don't understand how I can do that. The possibility that I'll be judged for choosing love instead. Because when you go against the general population, and instead of choosing fear and anxiety and anger, you choose love, people might not accept you. But what if, what if by choosing love instead, you touch just one other person and you touch the right person who needed that ray of sunshine in that moment. Yeah, you are the ray of sunshine. So the image that popped into my mind is, you know, we talk, and I saw this today, like you talk about the glass half full or half empty. Well, let's kind of forget about that metaphor, because what popped up to me was, if I want to fill the glass with water, first I have to put the first drop in. But the more drops I put in, the fuller the glass will be. So that's the image that I got in my mind, is that I might only be one person in that glass right now sending love. But the more of us that can choose love instead of fear and hate, the fuller the glass will be. All right, one last round. So I choose to live in love. I choose to send light into the world to those people who are ready to receive it. I choose to live in love and to let my love shine all through the world. And to let people know that they're not alone. Got this. Hands on your heart. Oh, I think I'm going to do that every morning, because as difficult as it is sometimes for me to talk about confrontation, and I don't like confrontation, and I don't like when people have strong opinions. I think if we come from a place of love and understanding of what people are going through, because everybody's got a different story in this. Everybody's living COVID differently. And if we can take the judgment away and we can look at everybody's situation or story with an open heart, we can just send more life into the world. So I hope this tapping was useful for you. Let me know how I can help you. Let me know if this tapping was useful, and let me know how many times you will be sending out that love into the world, because the more of us that do that, the better the world will be. That's it.